Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else. Welcome to The Actual News, a show where comedians like myself, today it's just me because it's March 27th, 2020, and about 2 weeks ago, Society was canceled indefinitely in an effort to flatten the curve of deaths from COVID-19 while simultaneously steepening the curve of obesity in America. I stocked up on marijuana, groceries, and can't leave a basement for several months. What could go wrong? This is a show where comedians will present today's top news stories, and granted the world is ending now, but hey, better late than never. Tonight, we're obviously going to cover coronavirus, but specifically social distancing, people who aren't paying attention to corona, its effects on our economy, and our politics. You may be asking, what qualifications do I have? None, really. I did study the media in college. I was a communications major because I heard it was the easiest one. It was. However, after successfully attending over 40% of my classes and only having to do one extra semester, I did pick up a thing or two about how the news works, which brings me to my first segment. The news. If you're most people, you've realized by now we're living in a time where information is being shared far more rapidly than before, and that a lot of it isn't vetted, sometimes accidentally, sometimes on purpose. Some have dubbed it the post-truth era, and the term fake news was popularized in 2016. From the left, you saw the term thrown at conspiratorial efforts like the Seth Rich story, Pizzagate, and Jacob Wohl trying to say that Robert Mueller raped a woman despite having no plan.
Second, was he only at jury duty? Sometimes people go to jury duty, but they're also somewhere else. Was he only at jury duty? No, hang on, it's not funny. This is not a laughing matter.
You gotta lie better than that. They were correct in calling these things out as fake, even if some of Podesta's emails were kind of weird. Even if walnut sauce isn't code for human trafficking, if you spend 30 emails talking about it, they should lock you up for a while. From the right, you saw critiques calling corporate news stations like CNN and MSNBC fake news. And if you include Fox News in there, it's actually a pretty credible statement. Sometimes, conspiracy stuff still bleeds through to them, which shows you how little vetting information seems to get these days.
Now, I was asked by the family of the DNC staffer that was killed in July to pull back covering the story of the death.
Usually, the corporate media doesn't exactly just lie. They draw up a narrative. Then, they show you little bits and pieces of the story that match up with their narrative. For example, a narrative for the past few years was Russian hackers helped Donald Trump win the election. That's not technically untrue. It's just that it's one piece of a bigger story. But if this were real news, as in all of the information being given to you, you'd see something more like this. Russian trolls invested about $160,000 into Facebook ads to help Donald Trump win the election, a small amount when compared to the $175 million raised by Hillary Clinton's super PAC, which, by the way, helped fund the Steele dossier, research which attempted to link Donald Trump to Russia, even creating rumors that there was a video of Russian hookers peeing on him, which, maybe. The story isn't so much Russian hackers made Donald Trump win, but more so every political entity uses the internet to serve their self-interest, or people on the internet support people they like. Sometimes it's political, sometimes it's OnlyFans. By the way, dirty smut kind of grosses me out, so I encourage people to just use OnlyFans. I think it's important that as I start this show, I point out that none of the sources of news we have are very good, so I'm going to make fun of them. Hopefully this makes them do a better job. If not, at least it'll be very fun. Let's start off tonight by talking about the new change everyone in society has had to make: social distancing. The year is 2020, and there's been a rapid shift in human behavior, the likes of which most living people have never experienced. Because of the highly contagious coronavirus, we must practice separating ourselves, i.e. social distancing. Now, luckily, when some of us were told we had to distance ourselves from other people, we were like, oh, way ahead of you. Some of us are already pros at this. So, from me to you, here are some ways to avoid all other humans. And remember, it's the right thing to do. Number 1. If it looks like someone is about to engage you, quickly look at your phone. My mindset has always been that if someone is about to say something to you, it's probably going to be an unpleasant experience in some way. A great way to avoid this is to pretend something on your phone is more interesting. You could scroll through your contacts, or even just pretend to press a few buttons. Soon, they'll most likely walk away. If they still try to engage you, especially by waving or touching your arm, call the police immediately. Number 2, smell bad. Enough said. If you smell bad, people will leave you alone. Eat garlic, onions, sleep in mustard. Everything you can do. Remember, not bathing could save your life. Showering is like coronavirus. We can't keep pretending it's only dangerous for old people. Number 3, appear busy. Looking constantly annoyed and walking quickly is an easy 75 to 80% effective way to avoid others. Try carrying a clipboard or wearing a hard hat to enhance your authoritative energy. Number 4, buy scrubs at CVS. For $20, you'll get all the space you need. Wear the whole thing so people think you're a nurse who's been in constant contact, or wear the bottoms so people think that you've escaped. Start reading too much news and begin communicating with others in a hostile way. That's number 5. If you don't know this one, you're an idiot. The more time you spend on the internet reading about the bullshit going on in society and then trying to communicate that, even using humor as a vehicle, the more you're going to drive people around you away. And that's the most noble thing you can do. Originally dubbed Corona Tough Guys by a guy who seems like he may have been in a frat literally called that, COVIDiots are a real problem. Take it from this kid who's a Mac Miller wannabe. Not just because he physically looks like Mac Miller, but also because he wants to be dead.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. You know, we've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time.
He has since apologized for his comments and said he wants to improve his behavior, but did leave this as his profile picture, so we know nothing has changed. Because the economy has, in technical terms, shit itself, Congress has been working to pass a stimulus package that includes a $1,200 payment for each adult, $500 per child in households that earn up to $75,000 per year for individuals, or $150K for couples. This, of course, raises the question, are we going to start receiving this money on a regular basis? Universal basic income, the idea that Andrew Yang popularized, which rebranded to the freedom dividend because UBI sounds like an STD you get from sitting in a gaming chair. The government has told everyone to stay home except the literal head of the DNC, Tom Perez, who told voters it was safe to go to the unsanitized, closely packed and slow-moving polls, then snorted a line of PCP and rode off into a thunderstorm on a motorcycle. Now, granted, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter because but Joe Biden, despite his many lies, questionable mental state, and sexual assault accusers, the other one, has what appears to be an insurmountable lead over Bernie Sanders, proving once and for all that most Democrats are wrong. Here's some leaked audio from a mysterious comedian back when stand-up comedy was still legal. And thank God that it's gone.
But granted, your feelings will always contradict your politics, right? I really believe that. I believe in free speech as a right, but I also think it should be illegal to start a conversation before 7 a.m. That's just me. That's just me. Right now, I think that everybody should have health care. I think you should just be able to go to the hospital if you're sick. But coronavirus is happening, right? And all the data is showing that it's killing older people, and younger people are surviving it. And older people are voting for Joe Biden. Younger people voting for Bernie Sanders. So I'm kind of at odds with myself because I'm saying, hey, we cannot afford to give these people health care. But we're never going to get any health care.